God. Oh God. Oh God.
What's up, everybody? Another episode of Lone Wolf Podcast. So basically, this story is actually kind of crazy. Basically, there was a sheriff arrested his own daughter in a meth bust, which is actually very, very kind of heartbreaking. In which the guy said too. So basically, in Franklin County, which is a county in Florida, basically the sheriff's office from there, they basically it started off with they arrested a female and basically they asked her who is her supplier. And they said, so it's the sheriff named AJ Smith. His name was in the article, so it's not like I gotta hide his name. So AJ Smith, they was asking like the woman they arrested, like, because apparently in Franklin County they're real big on meth. Like they're really against it. They have a slogan that says, "We don't meth around." You know, I guess that's catchy for them, but to each his own. So basically, they arrested a female, and they basically like, who was your supplier? And basically, they said it was Mr. Smith's daughter that was her supplier. So basically, like he said, like it was heartbreaking and gut wrenching to hear something like that. So basically, you know how it goes. You know, they did their due diligence and they actually did a controlled buy with the daughter, and sure enough, she was selling and she was arrested. And yeah, Smith was like, "Yo, like it's hard to see your daughter." You know, in handcuffs and with orange prison suit, but I mean, you had to do what you had to do. I mean, your slogan is you don't mess around. You don't mess around, and that you're just extra tough on meth. It's yeah, you had to sit there and say like, yo, like sometimes you gotta put your personal feelings aside, and you gotta do what's right. And he didn't, he didn't do no exception. He said it was like, yo, like. You gotta do what you gotta do. He's a sheriff. He's saying you're tough on meth, and yeah, he didn't let his daughter be immune to or accept from it. He was like, yo, I gotta give my daughter tough love, and this is what's gonna have to happen. Thing is, though, his daughter is 38 years old and she was doing this, so that's crazy. I don't know how much time she's gonna get, but that's crazy. They have to arrest her own daughter for dealing in drugs, and it's actually crazy because I was watching. If anybody knows a guy by the name of Jocko Willing. I never know if I say his name right because it's just a weird name. But if you type in Jocko, you're gonna find something. Jocko Willing, who would say that's how you say it. Basically, he was interviewing a guy that basically does drug busts, and the guy and Jocko himself met a guy that got out of jail from being addicted to meth, and the guy said to Jocko, he was like, "Yo, like the first time I used meth, I knew that would be a drug of my choice for the rest of my life." Like it was just that good and powerful for him, as and just that addicting. You know what I'm saying? So, and it got to the point the guy was robbing people, he was stealing from friends and everything just to keep buying. And then you got people also too. Jock was talking to to a guy that actually does drug busts. He was saying like the guy was basically like, "Yo, like you got certain people that actually make meth up in their own house. You got these meth labs, and then I'm sure you probably heard stories. You look it up about meth labs exploding and killing people. It has happened. When I was in the academy, we actually watched a video of it. We seen some people talk about meth lab going up too. But yeah. And how dangerous it is if you ever enter a house like that where it is a meth lab, like how dangerous it is to go inside because it has the potential to blow up at any moment. So. But the guy Jack was talking to, he was basically like, they talk to an informant who gives them information. Obviously, they got to sort their information, see if it's good information, see if the person's even like, someone you can trust. And then he said, well, when they do their drug bust, they actually end up bringing in child protective services with them if there's children in the home. Because what they found out was a high percentage of children that was in these houses where meth labs were happening, that the children would test positive for meth too, because the meth would be in the air and it would be sticking to the carpet. So basically, the children were inhaling in the meth. So you got young kids that's being affected by this as well. You know what I'm saying? So I commend the sheriff AJ Smith for just being a man of his word. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, and saying, "Yo, like you're gonna do crime, I'm gonna arrest you. I don't care if you're family." I got to put the feelings to the side, you know. And because he's out there talking to the families every day, you know, about meth users and how, you know, trying to inform them and getting their children and whatnot, you know, help for you know, for what they're going through. And, you know, he didn't just back down and say, he didn't just go against his word and say, because it's my family, I'm going to cut him right now. He kept his word and he stayed tough. So, tough thing to read, tough thing to hear. I can only imagine if I had to arrest my child for something like this, because yeah, like you think when it's like a cop's daughter or a sheriff's daughter, like you would think that they should know better. But obviously throughout history, we see that a lot of times it's not the case. Like pastors' daughters, growing up, I was growing up. Let's just say pastors' daughters were not the standard of angels, to say the least. So, like pastor daughters, they were the worst. Pastor sons, some of them dudes, yeah, they end up getting sent to jail and prison because a lot of them they admitted they felt coddled, you know, basically, you know, what their parents was doing, being a pastor, so they felt coddled and they just had to find their way to get in trouble. So just because a person, you know, just because a parent is doing a certain thing doesn't mean their children are gonna follow in that path. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you'll find out. Pastors' children, police officers' children, sheriff's children, they'll do the same things that where they're arrested people for, their children end up doing the same things. What they're preaching against, their children end up doing the same thing. So the title does not make your children just become angels. Like a child is still gonna follow their own way, find their own way, and do their own thing. And that's the unfortunate part of life, you know. So but I mean, if you can, I would just advise y'all be in your children's life as much as possible. Because on me, being a cop, I basically see how people act when they don't have certain people in their life. Like for instance, I can see how a man acts when he didn't have a father figure growing up. You know what I'm saying? I can see a daughter who didn't have a relationship with her father and she acts, you know, certain ways and does certain things. I see these things, you know what I'm saying? And me as a cop, there's only so much I can do. I can't go to each person on the street and try to preach to them, you know? So, I mean, it's crazy. And then just going back to the topic of meth, in my city, we have a big homeless problem, and a lot of them, they honestly use drugs. And when you see just the decay, I guess would be the right where I can use that they go through with these drugs is bad. Like, because sometimes you can arrest people, and you can look them up online, you see like their photos from like, you know, 5 years prior when they was probably like first arrested, or if they just got a longer, actually 10 years, whatever. And you see just like the drastic changes their face goes through from, you know, their booking photos. It's ridiculous, you know. So like these drugs, like, you know, right now we had just my other workday, we had like multiple overdoses, yo. Like I think most of them lived though. I think if not all of them lived, but still it was happening. But yeah, like and you see these people, it's like messed up. But yeah, I mean these drugs, you got meth, fentanyl, heroin, all these things. Just these homeless people somehow they find their way to these drugs, and they use them, and they just go down, and you can see them just changing. Like I remember there was one female, she was. I'm sorry, I got so many stories just based on my job. You know, I'm a cop in the state of Florida. But basically, yeah, there's one female. It was a beautiful girl. Sad too. It was beautiful, but she was we got called. Basically, the woman is tweaking out in the parking lot. So I get there. This lady's like full zombie mode. Like when I got there, it was weird. It was like her head. Have you seen the Avengers, the first one, Thanos, when he destroyed like half the population of the world? There was a scene with Doctor Strange, he was doing like meditating, his head was just going like fast from side to side, up and down. Like she was literally doing that. Like it was just so weird watching her. I'm just sitting there watching her for a second, like, what is she doing? Because she was just like just everywhere, her head just you know, I'm like, yo, like how is she okay? So I you know, I'm like, okay, let me just get out my tater, like it's a female, like, you know, let me just get out my tater just in case it has to reach that point. Because if she's doing this, I just don't know what she could really be on. So when I called out to her, she actually stopped. You know what I'm saying? She kind of like, I guess, regained consciousness. And then I was like, yo, like, hold on, just sit down on this curb right now. Like, so she complied, and you know, we was able to talk to her, and she was able to regain her senses. And she was saying how, you know, she admitted being on drugs, and she was saying how she's trying to get better and clean, and how she just got out of jail. She's trying to get clean because she wants to get her daughter back. And me and my partner are like, yo, is this how you're gonna get your daughter back by doing this? You know what I'm saying? So then, you know, we was able to, like I said, she was able to get calm to the point where she was, you know, like we can actually release her, like it's no danger if we let her go. But just had kindness in my heart, I didn't want to leave her on the street, you know, where she was. So I decided, you know, I took her to a hotel, which this hotel is known to have. This one's not known to have drug addicts, but it's known to have just bad people that frequent. But yeah, so you know, I kind of I took her there, and when I brought her up to her hotel room, and when she knocked on the door, the person that was inside, they literally just like opened the door and see me and just like left it cracked open, just so they wouldn't really expose their face fully, and then they let her in, but you can tell like they really was trying to hide from me because they kind of knew like what she does, and she's going to meet with them. Kind of what it's about. So, you know, I sent that to a person that's in charge of that area. I'm like, yo, like, this is what happened. This is the room I was at, you know, just give it, be on the lookout for that. And then I seen the chick like a month or two later, she was literally begging at intersection, and she had lost weight. Like she was literally like half the weight she was the last time I seen her. And she was frail, and it was worse. Like so like I'm saying, like I said, these drugs are, it's no joke. So like I said, I commend this, you know, this sheriff for, you know, being just a man of his word and cracking down on the issue and trying to fight against it and saying like there's no exceptions to this. Like if you're selling or using, we're gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? So props to him. I know it's heartbreaking. 2 days later, he actually made a statement about it, and like I said, most people that responded to his statement basically said that they're proud of him for not, not cutting any breaks, for even a family member, you know what I'm saying, even more or less his daughter, you know what I'm saying. So kudos to him for that. I mean, I don't want not kudos. I don't want anybody to go through that, but just for him doing his job, you know what I'm saying, just being a man of his word and doing his job, just for people that is affected, please try to get help, seek help. If you got family members, try to help them out too, or get them to seek help too. Obviously, most people that are users, they're gonna refuse help because they think they're fine. Everybody's above statistics, and everybody's just, better than next. Everybody's just a social user. They're not addicted. Listen, get help because this stuff be going down quickly. So, like I said, be the best you can be, and stay away from these things. If you got friends that are into these things, do not hang around them because you're just one step away from probably doing it. So, once again, long podcast, peace, love, and happiness. Try to be better every day, okay?